Testimony of Pastor Benjamin. In 2009 I had an accident. My stepmom poisoned me. I was dead and buried. But the Lord allowed me to come back to testify to His greatness. Hello brothers and sisters in the Lord, my name is Pastor Benjamin, I'm from RDC. I'm the firstborn of my parents, and we are two. When I was 4 years old and my little sister was only 2 years old, my parents divorced. Being kids, we didn't understand, but only when I grew up that my father started talking to me about his failed marriage. Because my father wasn't able to satisfy my mother's need to buy luxury items during the holiday, my mother decided to leave us. She left and went with her lover. Because we were so little, my father found another wife to help him raise us. Everything was so perfect for a couple years. Our stepmother was very kind to us, but when she had her first biological kid things changed gradually. She wasn't anymore the same mother we knew. I was the only son of my father, and because of that, my father was very close to me. According to the tradition of my father's tribe, a male child is more close to his father than the girl. My stepmother has borne my father only girls, and I was the only son in the house. Because of that, my father had more affection toward me than my sisters. This was a very big mistake my father made. When my stepmother realized that my father had more affection for me than the child that she had borne, things became hard not only for me but also for my little sister. When Dad was home, our stepmother was very kind to us. She will treat us with love. But when Dad wasn't there, she was totally a different person. She will insult us, beat and even deny us access to food. As a child I didn't know that she was my stepmother. I thought she was my biological mom, so my father was a hunter, and some days he might go hunting for 2 days. During those 2 days, my little sister and I would suffer tremendously. We won't have proper food. As a result, I told my father everything. But that was the biggest mistake of my life. When our father left to go hunt, she locked us in a closet and told us when Dad is out the closet would be a place for us. After cooking that day, she brought us out of the closet, only to let us watch her eat with her children. She left us angry that day. She even threatened to divorce Dad when Dad wasn't on her side. As a result, in the family my little sister and I were on our own. Dad will do his wife's will. We were accused of everything: witchcraft, thief, impolite, disobedience and so on. Our stepmother brought against me the accusation of being a sorcerer. She realized that Dad didn't care too much about that accusation, so she came with a new plan. One night, our stepmother fell from her bed and started acting as if she had epilepsy, calling after my name Benjamin, "Please leave me alone. Why would you want to kill me? What have I done to you, my son? My please Benjamin, don't kill me." She was successful with her acting. My father believed her. Seeing how his wife was rolling on the floor, my father took a machete in panic and threatened to kill us if we didn't tell him the truth. He had the blade of the machete on my neck, questioning me why would I put spell on his wife. Fearing to die, I accepted that I was the cause of our stepmother epilepsy. I told my father that we were sorcerers. From then we were moved from the family house to a chicken coop. We were abandoned. People in the village were afraid of us, thinking that we were sorcerers. We didn't have the chance to start school on time as other kids did. One day our parents got into a fight because our stepmother didn't want to buy us clothes. This was the first time Dad really stood for us despite his wife manipulation. They fought, she injured him, and he beat her severely. As a result, she was hospitalized. She felt very humiliated. It was a big mistake which would lead her to poison me. Not only she felt humiliated but also she was very angry because Dad bought us clothes. Her plan to poison us would take place the same day she was going to a spiritual retreat at her church. Many people go to church but their hearts are far away from our Lord Jesus Christ. It was for the first time in many years that I dressed in nice clothes. Dad bought me nice pants and a sweater, so I was very happy. We were going to school for my graduation. For the first time in my life I was very happy, seeing Dad close to us. We thank God that day because not only my sister and I passed the class, but also my half-sister passed their classes as well. Our dad was very happy and sent us home while he went to drink with his friends. When we got home, our mother was so happy to see us all. She came to embrace us all while we were entering the property. I haven't seen her being that friendly for years. Being young and naive, I just thought that she had changed into the woman I knew years ago. Unfortunately, she had it all planned to poison me with my little sister. She couldn't have peace seeing my sister and I happy and Dad stood for us. So she made a plate for everyone. It was a surprise to see that my plate and that of my little sister had more food than those of her biological daughters. You can't know a person's heart unless the Lord reveals it to you. The heart of a man hides so many secrets. She said if she poisoned 2 kids at the same time, people would suspect her, so she decided just to finish with me that day. When we entered the house she was so nice to me. She gave me the food. I thought that the plate was for both me and my little sister since there was a lot of food, but she told me that it was just mine, and forbade my little sister to taste the food. As I was eating, I saw her singing. She was very happy that day. Suddenly, I became uncomfortable, my tongue became heavier and I was very hot, not knowing that I was consuming poison mixed with food. When she saw that, she got ready on my plate in order to remove any evidence of poison. I had short breaths and I was complaining of abdominal pain. My stepmother became a little afraid. She felt like if I got more pain, people will suspect her since I just eat the food. I went into the room and she followed me there, sending my siblings away. She came to the bed, sat on top of me and put her hand around my neck as I tried to fight, but I couldn't do enough since she was an adult. She choked me but wasn't able to end my life. So she called her little sister who lived next door. When her little sister arrived I saw them talking as I was fighting for my life. Her sister told her that it wasn't a good idea to attempt to break my neck because the muscle around it will swallow. Her little sister ran to her house and came back with a bag of hot pepper and a torch battery. They boiled the water, used the black powder of a battery which they mixed with hot pepper and water. After I drank the mixed, I couldn't stand or walk. I became almost dead. My stepmother rushed with me at the hospital. When arriving there, they put me under an IV without knowing what I had. My dad came but I couldn't even told him what happened. I was just looking at him as I was fighting for my life. He left the hospital to go get more funds for my medical expenses. As I was laying down, my stepmother was sitting on my hospital bed, holding my feet, acting like a normal person. The same person whom my dad thought to take care of me was the same person who was the cause for my death. When the medical agent would leave the hospital room, she would attempt to choke me. Sometimes, she will misplace the fork as I was dying slowly. There is a great mystery in death which we don't understand. When a person dies at the hospital it's not as we thought when we all cry for the departing soul. The person who dies doesn't understand that he or she is actually dying. I heard the doctor calling me Benjamin, Benjamin, but it sounded as if he was very far from me while he was standing by my bed. I started to experience different events while I was just laying there. The first event was the sound of a car. I heard the sound of a car. It seemed that the car was being driven outside the hospital, but the car was parked in front of my room. There were people in that car. I felt as if my heart was being torn apart, feeling great pain, so I started talking, asking the doctor to rebuke the people who came in the car because they were singing, making noise. The people around me didn't know what I was talking about because there was no car and no one was there physically. Because everyone in the village thought that I was a sorcerer, the medical agent said, "We rebuke Benjamin, there is no car here. If that is a car from the witchcraft then you will go in that car on your own, not with us, for we rebuke you." As I lay down, I saw myself on the screen running while my stepmother was after me with a big rock to finish me. That was God's language to make me understand that if I died today she is the cause of my death, but I didn't understand back there. I then saw under the car a big beast came and I screamed. After that I couldn't speak anymore because I became deaf. I tried to move myself because of the presence of the beast, but I suddenly became like a paralyzed person. My entire body failed me, and I felt so heavy that I couldn't move even my little finger. I could see the people around me and listen to them, but couldn't move and speak. My beloved in the Lord, death was approaching slowly and it was its time, but I didn't know although the people around me understood that I was dying. However, it's time, but I didn't know although the people around me understood that I was dying. However, I started to fight with that beast spiritually. Suddenly the roof of the hospital disappeared, but I still didn't understand that I was dying. I saw an angel coming from above. When he came, he delivered me from the hand of that beast. He had a long whip and started to whip the beast until he ran away and left me alone. Benjamin, I came to take you, said the angel, and I also heard people around me saying that our son is dead, please close his eyes. So one of the women closed my eyes, but the Lord allowed me to come back. When I opened my eyes, I couldn't see the angel, so I said, why did this woman close my eyes? It hurt my feelings because I wanted to go with him. When I looked on the side, I saw him and was very glad to see him. He approached very close to me on the bed and said, Benjamin, stood up, let's go, but I wasn't able to stand. He helped me to my seat. In the physical world everyone around me saw me laying down on the bed, but in the spirit I was seated. I heard again they said, please close his eyes for he is dead. The angel of God pulled me out of the bed and helped me stand. When he was pulling me, I was shaking very badly, but when I stood all the pain disappeared. I was healed right there. I jumped and hugged the angel of God, thanking him for healing. I didn't understand that shaking was the result of separation between my body and soul. The angel said to me before we went, we will stay here a little while. When a person dies, his soul doesn't leave right now. The soul of the person is there looking around. He sees everything and listens to conversation, but he can't speak anymore to the living. One thing I really remembered is seeing those who were crying, but at that moment I didn't know anymore that they were my family. That knowledge was taken away from me. The angel told me to look where I came from. He pointed at the bed. At that moment I asked myself how possible I was lying down, but at the same time I was standing in the corner of the hospital room. Our body is just a carcass when we die, the envelope is away from us. I saw how my body was wrapped. I wanted to touch my own feet, but I wasn't able to. After they left the room with my body, the angel of God told me that because everyone has left, we are also going on our journey. This first part of my testimony was